then
no, there are 8, right? So 4 of you and four others.
I mean, including the group, we are 8. So we 4, we already know the presentation.
Anyhow, it will be recorded. It's fine. They can see it.
Fine. Yeah, let's start.
Okay, so you guys decide. If you don't want to do it, I can take up some other topic.
No, Shriyar is right. Anyway, it will get recorded. If anyone wants to see, they can see. Fine.
Yeah, let's get it done with.
Yeah, let's get it done. Okay. Let me share the screen.
So you're presenting or?
Yeah, I'll start the presentation.
Because you will be leaving, can Ishwar present it? And so that you can leave it without any breakage of the screen sharing.
Yeah, I can do it.
So you want to? I don't understand. You want to start, or you guys are saying that later?
No, screen sharing will be done by Ishwar.
I can share the screen.
Yeah, please share the screen. Yeah, Ishwar. Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, so before you guys start, tell me what was the rationale of picking Visa?
Why not? What's wrong with Visa?
No, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. I'm just asking generally why you picked Visa. That's all.
Because fundamentally it's a good company. So, and we want
Guys,
to know.
Can you see the screen?
And I was interested to know how they are making the profit and those reason. And year and year, if you see the profit is huge, they're doing very good profits. So we felt interesting, and quarter on quarter they're showing around, if I remember, 25 to 30%. So, and being a large cap,
Rajneet ideas.
Yeah, I can see the screen, Ishwar. Just make it a full screen. Like click on that right arrow and just increase the PDF size.
Yeah, Visa.
Not so much. Keep it at like 180 kind of, and 180 should be enough. You can just type in the percentage in that box.
Yeah, that's
what I did. 180. Yeah. Okay, so
220. Try 220.
No, it's fine. No, Nishant. This one is perfect.
No, it's not even full screen. Yeah, 180 though. It is not even taking the full screen. Yeah.
But we can make in our computer full screen. No, that okay. I can easily see.
This is better.
Okay. Yeah. So I will start as soon as. Can I start now?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. And what we have done is that basically we have tried to study the qualitative aspects and the quantitative aspects of the company. And then we have divided our presentation into 4 parts, wherein I'll be talking about the company and how does the business model work. Then Srihari will talk about the SWOT analysis and basically the leadership of the company. And moving on, Ishwar will explain the quantitative aspects, wherein he'll talk about the balance sheet, the income statement, and the other aspects. And finally, Ranjit will end it with a peer-to-peer comparison with MasterCard. And then we'll give a advice, our suggestion, and what will we do based on our study. Okay. So I'll start now. Basically, Visa. So we all know that Visa is a large company, and probably we all have been using Visa as part of our lives since a long time. But I'm not sure if all of us understand as to what Visa exactly does. So let me explain you that Visa, as it is a world leader in digital payments, they enable businesses, individuals, and economies by facilitating commerce.
Slowly. Little slowly.
Yeah. No, I'll explain you. Don't worry. I'll explain this part. Wait. They enable.
No, I'm saying just go a little slow. You are a little too fast. That's all.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So basically what Visa does is that it is an enabler of digital payments across different entities. Now we will come as to what Visa exactly does later, but let me give you a brief history about the company. So Visa, the company, basically it was started, the Bank of America in 1958 had launched its first Bank America credit card program, and then this Bank America credit card program, it became Visa in 1976. Further on, Visa actually had different entities across the globe.
So one second. So when Bank of America started it, was it like a subsidiary of Bank of America or how?
No, this was part of the Bank of America part. It was just named as Visa.
And so then, even today, Visa is owned by Bank of America, kya?
No, not at all. After that, a lot of different kind of changes happened. Stakeholders changed.
So in 1976, just Bank Americard was named as Visa, just a brand naming.
Yeah. I mean, it was a section of the it was a section of the credit card program section of the company. It became Visa, and then there's another things as well. For example, they created the Visa Net, which is the overall network. So I will explain you that what exactly is Visa.
How did they come up with the name? So from Bank America card to Visa, how did they come with the name Visa?
I don't know. Probably
there is some sort of a marketing strategy, right? So like they consulted different marketing professionals, and they wanted one name which is short and which everybody can remember. And so Visa stands out. Instead of like, imagine having to say Bank America. That's such a hard name to pronounce.
Correct. So I was looking for that. So are you making this up, or you read that is how they did it?
No, this is just logical.
No, actually, I checked the.
I mean, we do not have like a solid reason as to why they named it Visa, but the most logical possible reason.
What Ishwar is saying, even I thought that, but I'm seeing, did you guys read it up? Why it came? That is always interesting to know, right? Like what was happening. Maybe it was not helping with their marketing. Maybe the business was not growing at the rate that they wanted. And because see, the name Visa is quite catchy, right? It tells you to move. So maybe was it a marketing ploy because a lot of American tourists were traveling? So it was like, okay, when you travel with the Visa card. How did they? Yeah, go on.
Please.
Initially, when the Visa was started, Bank of America started with this card functionality. It was limited to Bank of America and those things. And since Visa, it's become very popular in American banks. They want to give this kind. They want to make it like a separate entity, which will be like a payment gateway for all other banks to even across the globe. So they don't want to limit their market share or market targeted audience to just a Bank of America. They also licensed within the American banks, and also they went globally. So in order to make it global, they came up with the name called Visa. That's it.
Okay.
So with the Bank of America, it will be like looking like a Bank of America card or something. So then they came up with a new name. Initially, the idea was very close to use only with a proprietary kind of thing, only for the Bank of America businesses. Then they opened for other businesses.
Yeah, so slowly they would have allowed, okay, now JP Morgan customer, Wells Fargo customer, Citigroup customer can also use Visa card, and then slowly rolled it out to then Canada, then rolled it out to Mexico, then gone to Europe, then slowly India. And see, this is what I keep telling, right? So now try to connect the dots, right? So if you see the historical significance also, 1958, 7, 8, 10 years after the end of World War II, American economy picking up, people are having good jobs, working in the manufacturing industry, Ford, General Motors churning out all those cars in Detroit, Americans really enjoying, thinking they won the war and all that. So slowly their financial services was growing, and somebody came up with a credit card like this. And I'm sure not just Bank of America, other banks would have also come with their own credit card programs.
Nishan, let's to be in order to in the same page. We are the Visa is not only they are not credit card business. They are just a payment gateway. They don't involve with any.
No, that is today, na yaar. But see the launch, right? It was from the credit card program only, right? It is clearly mentioned Bank America credit card program.
Yeah.
So all I'm trying to highlight is how this business developed. So now slowly once they converted into whatever, right? Then this is in 1976 they have converted. Then slowly capturing the American market, so which is North American market. Then going to Europe. Then 1990-91 India, China opened up. So coming here, right? This is how they have gained advantage and become so big. Yeah. Okay, so this is all a historical thing, and the same thing is being repeated today with China. So slowly there Alibaba or WeChat, right? Like if you read about WeChat, has any one of you ever used WeChat?
Yes, I do.
It's shitty. I mean, I've used it before, but I mean, maybe now it's good, but before it wasn't.
Okay, has anyone used? First question was, so couple of you have used, right? So one is saying good, one is saying bad. But basically today it is a super app, which is basically means it is like your WhatsApp where you can chat. It is also including Paytm because you can do the payments. It also is like your big basket. You can order groceries. So it's like one in all. So almost every Chinese person who has a smartphone, which is about 800, 900 million people, have WeChat. Whether they are on Android or iOS doesn't matter. That's how big that market is. And now what the Chinese want is just like the Americans, they have saturated their own market. Now WeChat is targeting other customers. So just like for American companies, the target audience, which country do they target just after US? Which is the second one most of the time?
India.
China, India. China and
it's always India. Canada. So any American company, after capturing the American market, the next market always is Canada, because they consider Canada as like one of the provinces of America only, because it is 35 million people compared to 350 million people, 10% of the population, friendly relations, open borders. So similarly, China, it targets most of the South Asian countries like Indonesia or Singapore or Taiwan or whatever, what it considers as its own area of influence. Now, the problem for China is that they have a counterbalancing force in Japan. US has no such counterbalancing force in the Western Hemisphere. And that is what gives them a free run. So see the geopolitics, how it plays out. So all of these should be interrelated. Okay, just a perspective, move on.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, Ishwar, can you scroll down a little? Yeah, so and then what happened is that in 2017 they merged together to form Visa Inc. And that is when their IPO actually happened.
Who merged with whom?
Visa US with different regional entities, for example, Visa Europe and different like entities of this company across the globe. They all merged together to form Visa Inc.
Okay, so here also it says it started its journey with the first credit card program for middle class consumers and merchants in the US and gradually began expanding its global footprint in 1974. So it is still showing as a credit card program. So when did it convert into this debit card payments technology?
Yeah, it will come. It will come in the wait for it. I'll explain you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then yeah, Ishwar, can you scroll down?
No, just up. Hold on. So here it says they have 2 billion cards in use globally, but how many customers? Because one customer could be having 20 cards also. So how many unique customers?
It might be answered in the quantitative data that we have below, but for now it is just like a statistic to explain you the impact of Visa globally. You know, it is a massive company because more than 2 billion it has issued more than 2 billion cards. So maybe that kind of specific question could be answered below, where we have the statistics to show you.
Yeah, for us, I think instead of customers, I think we must target a number of transactions are done per second or per hour by Visa. So that will give it.
That also, he's right.
So it doesn't matter if let's say if
customers also matter, na? Because
no, let's say.
Wait, listen. If you have 100 million customers, everything is from the customer, right? You have 100 million customer. Each customer does 2 transactions a day. That's 200 million transactions a day, right? Then you can calculate per hour, whatever. At the end of the day, it's the customer that matters, right? So if Visa has 100 million customers doing 2 transactions per day, that is 200 million transactions per day. Then what will matter is the value of the transaction. But what also matters is the number of customers. If I have 100 million unique customers, what else can I sell them, right? Because I have the data of 100 million customers. What is the cross-selling opportunity I have? How much more money can I make from them by cross-selling something else? Can I show them ads? right? But Visa, where will Visa show the ads?
No, Visa doesn't have to do anything like that. Visa has a very proprietary based, network, and it is massive. So I'll explain you the core business of Visa, and it doesn't have to rely on anything like that because it offers so many solutions to B2B, like these financial institutions. It doesn't have to go to reach out to end customers anyway.
I think
No.
whatever the ad business there, I don't think so. Visa is interested into to go into the ad business.
Correct, but why not, right? The world is changing,
Yeah,
right?
because it depends on their core business. No, their core business is not to target B2C customers. Their core business is to empower financial institutions and offer them solutions so that those banks can offer those kind of solutions to
How long
customers.
can they survive, right? With Paytm and all these new payment
Why not?
technologies.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That is a fair question. That is a fair question. The only reason, see, I'll tell you the answer. The answer is that they have been investing a lot of money in different kind of this entrepreneurship ventures, like these innovation ventures, and they have partnerships with the fintechs and different kind of companies as well. So that is how they will be able to survive.
Okay, so tell me one thing. This UPI that India launched, Unified Payment Interface, does Visa have any stake in that?
Could be. I don't know. We will have to check that.
Okay, but that's a different technology to what Visa offers, right? As far as I know, UPI is open source, right? So anyone can claim. So that Visa's advantage gone, because if people are using UPI, hold on. If people are using UPI, Visa is gone from India market, because right now most of the transfers in India are happening UPI through via UPI.
Sorry, but I would not say that statement that it would go from Indian market. Indian market is massive, and you see, for example, you go to anywhere to a merchant shop. Okay, there's a probability that you might use UPI, but what about the number of people who have been using their debit card since, I don't know, ages?
Debit cards are going out of fashion, right? That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. See, it depends. It depends on the trend, and it depends on the habits of the people. Would their habits change so fast that they would just kick out the debit cards?
It will be forced, right? It will be forced. Why? Because understand this, right? Today, a Visa POS, point of sale terminal, to the merchant costs 3% per month, for example. I don't know the actual charges, what Visa POS charges. Say Visa POS charges 3% per month, which means some money goes to Visa, some money goes to the hardware provider. So you see, right, if you go to any shop where you are allowed to use a Visa card, that POS machine is usually provided by, say, a Citibank or a ICICI Bank or SBI. Clear? Are you with me? Now, if that is 3% and I am a shop owner and I have a grocery shop and my monthly transaction volume is 10 lakhs via debit plus credit card, which are Visa powered, right? Visa debit and Visa credit. Both you have, right? You have credit card also. So these debit and credit card transactions of Visa are 10 lakhs, which means 30%, 30,000 I'm paying just to use that POS. Would, as a merchant, I prefer that? Or would I prefer to have this Paytm where I'm paying only maybe 1%? Or would I prefer UPI where I'm paying nothing? You see the point? That is how these technologies get out of fashion. And as far as I know, UPI is open source and free. So basically anyone can build on it. So right now we have Paytm, PhonePe, BhimPay, MobiKwik, Freecharge, all on UPI.
Okay, and what about RuPay card? Is it also depends on Visa, RuPay card in India?
I doubt it. RuPay card is again not Visa powered.
Exactly, yeah. I heard it's some Indian technology or Indian.
Exactly.
For comparing oranges with the apples, first of all, UPI is a completely different technology when it comes to Visa. You should compare RuPay with a Visa. I agree with you.
Arey no, yaar, what orange and apple? That is what I'm saying. UPI will demolish this Visa technology, right? Why were people using Visa? Because there was no other alternative. Wait,
no,
now you have. Huh?
Do you think Pakistan will include UPI? Do you think China will include UPI? No.
No, so wait, so why will see first Indian market is gone, right? That is 1.5 billion customers.
No, but we can't say that Indian market is gone, Nishant. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, yeah,
a major chunk can go, but
Weber, one by one, I'm answering his question. So one market gone, then obviously if UPI is successful, India will want to sell its technology. So we will go to our smaller friendly nations, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan. We will capture that. China has already built, I'm sure, multiple alternatives to Visa. They are not dependent on American technology anymore. And that is what the Americans are not liking. So they will try to sell. WeChat is proprietary, right? It is not dependent on Visa. WeChat payment gateway. They will try to sell it to Pakistan. So you think of the competition. The Americans had a free run because there was no competition. Because a country of 350 million people had a big market. So once Visa captured the American market, it had a large scale. and no European provider could compete with them. Now it is not like that. You have a bigger market competing with that. So once a company is successful in China, they know how to crack other markets. Look at Xiaomi, right? 4 years ago, who thought Xiaomi will crack the Indian market? They came with mobiles. Now they crack the TV, then laptops. Slowly, you will see only Xiaomi laptops being sold in India in 2 years. No, nothing else will sell. HP laptops still people are buying in India. HP, Dell. All this will get washed out.
Yeah, Nishan, just
I'll
one thing
answer
that I have to
question.
Nishan, I have to leave in around 10-15 minutes, so I won't be able to explain the part that I have to explain. I mean,
No,
either you can
Vaibhav, wait.
carry
You
on
will
with
get
the
your
question
chance, right?
answers.
This will be continued. So I don't think so. It will get over today. You guys have an
Yeah,
18-page
yeah,
deck.
I'm
Looks
seeing,
quite
Nishan,
interesting.
So either we
just
do, so
I'll
either
just
either I do my part and then you ask questions, or either I leave it and then you keep on, like we can keep on discussing whatever you want.
No, so you continue. See, questions are coming only when you are discussing some topic, right? Just reading this, some questions came to my mind. So we can continue.
I'm just telling you that I will leave in around 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So
that's
after
fine.
that, my
So
part will
whatever,
remain. So either
yeah, so
like
whatever
any one of
remains, we
my
will take it
teammates
up.
can take it.
No. So what I'm saying is whatever remains, let the discussion follow its natural course. Whatever remains will be taken up in subsequent sessions. Okay.
Okay.
Now continue with the, if somebody wanted to add something, Srihari had something to add.
Actually, I'll tell what Nishant is telling. See, UPI is an unified payment interface. See, already there are other existing, like IMPS is also a kind of an way of transferring the money. There are a lot of NTFS is also one of the way of transferring the money. So that's what actually Ranjit was telling. We are comparing two different things. Actually, in a way, we are comparing two different things. Actually, there is a totally a different market for the Visa. I'll just tell you what exactly Visa's core business is and what exactly is this UPI. Yes, UPI is a differently a total entity, total business case where it has its own market. And I'll just tell you, for example, take a Commerce Bank or Targo Bank or take SBI Bank or anything. So they're just issuers. So once they establish as an issuer, where Visa is a kind of a network where it can they will have a kind of a licensing with that issuer and have a contractual agreement with them saying that my card, I'm issuing so and so bin my card with this bank, this issuer, and that issuer can issue to the customers, and through that way the customers or the consumers can use that card throughout the payment throughout the world, wherever the payment the card has been accepted. So it's a totally a different business cases actually.
No. So what is the advantage here? That is what I'm saying. See, don't compare NEFT and RTGS. I understood. But now what UPI is doing, basically, if I go to a merchant shop, right? Take a simple use case. I went to a cloth shop, right? Cloth retailer, to one of the malls in Bangalore, and I bought 30,000 worth of cloths, right? Suits, pants, trousers, whatever. Okay. What is the advantage of Visa card? I have my Visa credit card. I swiped it, right? It's a payment gateway, right? Now, earlier, I will not go to the shop and do NEFT, right? That was a little cumbersome. But UPI is a direct competitor, isn't it? Because I have my mobile always with me. I don't even need to carry that extra credit card. So one less thing to carry, one less thing to lose, right? I just carry my mobile. It has become my wallet, right? E-wallet. I just use my mobile, do UPI, tuck, done. Money gone from my bank account. Why do I need Visa?
No,
That is a
but
direct.
here it's a debit, right?
No, wait, Nishan. Sorry, Shuntu. Nishan, Visa is not just a payment gateway, okay? It is a big network that authenticates every kind of transaction that the whole process goes through. So it's not that simple. Yes, of course, UPI is a direct competitor. I agree with you. But Visa is not just a payment gateway. It has a very large network and it has a lot of authentication associated in its network. So it's not
Correct,
that
but only as a
that
payment gateway, right? The only
yeah, but it's
advantage where
not
UPI.
just that
Wait,
simple, right?
Nishant,
I mean,
can I add something
please.
here?
yeah, sure. One by one. That's all.
Okay, so the history with the Visa is that they linked it with the credit program. So, you know, when people didn't have money to purchase something new that they saw and they wanted right away, they could swipe their card and it would be linked to the bank account on their monthly bank statement. On which if you don't pay by this time, you would have to pay a monthly installment of such and such amount. And at the end of the year, the bank is the real winner, because they know that people cannot afford the things that they buy. This is why, like so many people in America are in debt. They're in consumer debt. So this whole thing with the payment gateway is, yeah, I agree. It's one side of their business, but it is an enabler for the whole credit program.
Yeah, so that is different, right? So that is the credit mess that they have created, right? So that is basically encouraging people to buy stuff that they don't need by creating this marketing gimmick and the whole concept of consumerism, right? But then again, that is what I'm saying. This will be restricted to certain markets because the Europeans don't like it. So in France, one of the good things I liked about their financial system, there was no concept of credit card, which was a little shocking at the beginning, but then it was actually a really good thing. And the only thing that the bank offered me is only after a few months of bank account, they said that instead of an immediate deduction from my bank account, it can be at the end of the month. That's all. That is the only thing they offer, but on a debit card. There is no concept of credit card and all. It is not that they will give you credit card. Like in the US, my sister stays and she roams around with some 50 cards, each card having a credit limit of $30,000. So that is how they distribute cards in the US. But then managing so many cards become a mess. And obviously when India started this, say around 2000 or 98, 99, say everything is usually 2000 is when it started. So 20 years ago now, we also distributed cards, right? And at that time we didn't have any CIBIL and all. People took 30 cards. So many people defaulted. They disappeared. Then banks became more careful. Then CIBIL came in, all of that, right? So that all is a different story, right? That credit card business. So giving things on credit, but then again, there also Paytm and all are competing, right? Paytm has come up with Paytm postpaid. Amazon has come up with Amazon Pay postpaid. So that market is also being challenged with this postpaid.
But just for your information, even Paytm is offering Visa services, Visa cards.
No.
Why they are eliminating if they are competitive, as you said? Why they can't replace a Visa?
No, again, you are not understanding here. Paytm may be offering a Visa card because Paytm is like SBI, right?
For the economics, I don't know.
Paytm you can compare to SBI, right? They are offering whatever product is in the market. Paytm is not the competitor of Visa, right? Again, I'm repeating. UPI is a competitor of Visa. So now UPI is already Paytm is already on UPI technology, right? Paytm is not using Visa's payment technology. So the margin that 2%, 1% on transaction. So if Paytm is doing 100 crore in transaction, and even if Visa takes 1%, that is 1 crore per month, right? That is not going to Visa now.
But Nishant, can UPI provide or support credit card functions or credit card program?
No, UPI is not for a credit card, right? It is only for a payment interface. But they can got it into credit card, right? I don't know. It is not very difficult, right? It is basically if the Indian government decides that we need proprietary technology and don't want to depend on American technology, we just banned another 190 apps from China, right? So totally 250 apps banned. Nobody's died now in India. Some people who love PUBG can now play.
But we will not do that against US, right? We can do it against China, but we will not do it against the US, right?
Why not? If the Americans are not giving us visa, how long can we say, "Arey, you are American good boy, bad boy," right? I already told if I was negotiating trade with America for every branch of McDonald's, it will be 1 lakh H1Bs, right?
Nishant,
so we cannot give red carpet to Google, Facebook. We will also ban Google, Facebook if they do too much drama, right? Trade is two-way, right? So it all depends. Right now we have a surplus with the US. That's why we are keeping quiet. We also have a trade surplus with US. So how many goods we send to US, we import less. With China, we have a big deficit. That is why we are doing all this drama. So it is all about trade, right? Surplus versus deficit.
Nishant, can I explain one more thing? Something similar to, for example, it's like similarly, it works like a telecom provider. Okay. It doesn't matter. Now everyone is having a Wi-Fi. No one needs a telecom service. It's not like that. Still, you need a mobile towers, mobile services. It's similarly, Visa will be there, and of course they will be taking some of the portion of the market share.
I don't believe this, Ranjit. What I'm saying is this new technologies will replace the old ones, right? Because the legacy technologies are very costly to maintain. Okay, and they are controlled by few people, like Ripple, right? Read up Ripple. So Ripple will basically replace Swift. It will take time. And obviously, the Americans will want to continue with SWIFT because they are under political pressure from their government. Although they say they love free market, they don't love anything, right? They only love money. Everybody loves only money, right? That is the reality of the mankind. Whichever everything else is a lie. Read history of last 1,000 years. Everybody loved only money, right? Whichever way money can be accumulated. So basically, the point is that this new technology will try to replace the old one. The legacy will try to hold on, but that is how it is, right? All the changes that you are seeing, it is petrol car, will they survive, or will only Tesla survive, right? Or means electric cars will survive.
Visa, then definitely yes, Visa will be replaced. If there is any disadvantage or any lagging behind, I don't see any drawbacks in Visa. So what's the
Nishant is correct, Ranjit. You need to understand that the technology itself, the core technology itself is being there is now an alternative to that technology, that is UPI or any other technology, right? So it doesn't matter however big is Visa now, because if in India itself UPI is possible. Of course, if we have to do like international transactions, UPI does not have that capacity. But in India itself, the local market, Visa has a very strong competition with technologies that are based on UPI or any other technology. He has a good point. That is true.
Yeah, I think we can proceed. Yeah.
UPI and all those things came up. Kill the profit of Visa. They don't want to pay for Visa, so RBI came up with the UPI. Apart from that, no big reason that to capture the Visa market. They want to play in only player like in India, only in India.
So our domestic market is 1.5 billion, man. You don't understand the size. That is all of North America plus Europe put together, plus Russia, plus add few more countries.
Man, half of the, I think how many people are using cards in India? How many people are using banking, online banking?
Boss, people who are not using cards are already on UPI. You know that, right? People who never saw debit card, credit card are now using phone pay, Paytm.
There is a dependency on the mobile. Do you think there is, what is the technology drawback in that? What if your battery sucks? What if your battery gone? So do you still will be replacing everything?
It doesn't happen. In any case, there's no point of debating anymore, Nishant. Let us move on and
It's a completely separate entity. This is an alternative, and it's like you are comparing mobile data with mobile services. Or
okay, move on. I have made my point. Move on.
Back and those things. The service will be there forever.
I doubt it. Forever,
yeah,
nothing
service
lasts.
will be there, but people won't use it. That's it.
Nothing lasts forever. Okay, I give Visa another, in India especially, not more than 20 years.
It depends, Nishant. See, it depends upon the kind of investments they have done and everything.
No, the card technology will see in 20 years. You can take it in writing if you want. In 20 years, I do not see this card surviving. There will be no need for cards. People will use their mobiles for payments.
Yeah,
simple as that. Now that payment. So now when you are using,
Apple people uses card technology.
Let me finish. When people are using their mobile for payments, it will all depend on that mobile interface, what they are using. So today we have UPI, tomorrow we may have another 4 or 5 competing technologies. I don't know how that future will evolve. Aditya Puri once mentioned that this payment business firstly is not very profitable. So how will companies like Paytm make money? So for example, even if Paytm is doing 100 crore in transaction and UPI is not charging them anything, still how will Paytm make money? So will it start charging users 1% per transaction? So again, similarly to the Visa model, you charge the POS guy. So merchant. So as a customer,
banks have now started putting charges on this UPI technology also. Recently only they have said.
Hold on. So that is what I'm saying. So first Paytm is the gateway, right? And then obviously banks are the second gateway. So two players are involved, Paytm and banks. Now if each one wants a cut, if the merchant is asked for 1%, okay, it depends who can go how low, right? So if Paytm and banks agree for 1% and split it 50-50 on a 100 crore transaction, 50 lakh goes to Paytm and 50 lakh goes to the bank from which the UPI transaction is happening, right? So whichever bank has how much ever volume, it will do something because they need some other source of income, right? If interest rates goes down. So there are a variety of factors. In this, Visa will be one competing technology to UPI. Whoever can offer the best terms to the customer, people will use that. If I am a merchant and UPI is charging me 1% and Visa is charging me 3% and MasterCard is charging me 2%, which one will I go for? You take the call, right? It's as simple as that. Because there is no other value add that Visa is providing to the merchant.
one thing that you need to also, like any merchant will also think, is that of course yes, that whichever is less expensive they will go with that, but also the fact that what are the number of people who are using that technology as well. If
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely, right? That is the second point. But as I said, assume that all have equal, right? So if there are 1,000 people walking into my shop, all have Visa card, all have MasterCard, and all have UPI, then which one I will go? I will obviously push the customer, right? Do the UPI. Already, if you go to any shop in India, you will see they push you to do UPI. They don't want you to pay to Paytm wallet because there is another story with that. So they say, sir, do UPI. Everyone is ready. And UPI is common, right? So you don't need only Paytm. You can do it via Phone Pay or Bheem UPI or Amazon Pay. All have the same. All use UPI. What is UPI? Money will directly go from your bank account. That's it. But I personally prefer credit card because my wallet is loaded from my credit card. So I get that additional 40 days credit. So I ask them, boss, Paytm le lo. So many times they agree, many times they don't agree. But UPI everybody is pushing, which tells me that it is free or very less charge, 0.25, whatever.
yes,
Visa nobody prefers because a lot of people earlier also used to say, sir, card mat dijiye because 3% कट जाता है या 4% कट जाता है, cash दे दीजिए. Right? There are obviously two sides to it. One is the not being showing that income, and obviously the card charges also, right?
Yeah,
So they
slowly
give you,
change also in India. UPI maybe initially they might give a promotional offer for few years. Once they capture the market, they will also introduce the fees.
it is open source. It will not be chargeable. That is what I'm saying. Nobody, anybody can build it. Only if
Can
it
you
is proprietary people.
never charge?
Huh?
Can you write it on a paper that it won't be never charged?
Open source, who will charge? It is open source, right? Already so many apps are built on
no,
that.
no, Nishant, wait. The company that is providing the for example, whatever banks that allow UPI transactions, they will of course they will add some amount of transaction
So this
fees or
is
something.
funded by GUI, right? GUI already funded it, right? Because they want our own proprietary technology. So the government is already funding it. It is not a
No,
private
that's,
technology.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the banks that will be allowing UPI. They will definitely charge some amount of. That's what I was reading. I'm not totally clear about
Correct.
it.
So that is what I'm saying, right? So even if for UPI, that core technology is free, right? Now Visa, what happens? Visa, if SBI is providing you Visa card, some cut goes to SBI because SBI has provided the card, SBI has provided the hardware, POS. So uska SBI leta hai alag se paisa. And then the core technology Visa, they take their cut, right? Because the payment gateway is Visas. So there are two cuts. Now the SBI cut will remain because obviously SBI is the bank initiating the transaction. But the core technology, there is no owner, right? Who owns UPI? UPI is not owned by a company, right? It is a government of India funded project. So that is why it is free. RBI is funding it, saying we want our own technology because we don't want to be dependent on American technology. Because people finally realize that when you are dependent on somebody's technology, you will keep paying royalty to them lifelong.
Actually, for RBI, it's kind of indirectly, it helps. They can get all the money in system instead of otherwise people still the vendors will ask cash. Now by using UPI,
Correct.
vendors will
Obviously,
go
that
with
is that is the whole concept of Indian government trying to push digital, right? We want to kill the black economy. So that is why we need to build our proprietary technology.
Let's agree.
That's fine, but it's good if UPI comes with a credit card option. Means credit card program. So somehow it helps credit card options from Indian banking.
Yeah, and there is nothing stopping from UPI from just offering a debit card option to move to a credit option also. They can get into an arrangement with banks where you can do postpaid transactions. That's what I'm saying. Already Amazon and all are providing Amazon postpaid and all. Paytm postpaid is there. So they are using UPI only. I don't think so. Paytm is using Visa's technology for that.
Visa, they are using Visa.
Oh no, I doubt it, man.
Check Vex website, man. Can you pull the data also about where do you see that open source? It's a free. You said.
Yeah, check it now. That is how they promote it, right? UPI is open source, promoted by GUI.
Can you show? It's open.
Yeah, I will try to see. Okay, so move to page 2 now, and go slowly. It's a good presentation you guys have made. I like it.
Yeah, actually, this was Weber's part.
No, I will continue. It's fine. I will continue Weber part also. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I don't have in-depth knowledge, but I'm aware of.
Oh, that size was good. Don't change the size. Make it full screen. 195.
Yeah, but it doesn't cover the entire material, so I'm kind of forced to reduce it. Okay. Yeah, go on, Srihari.
Go to 180.
Yeah.
180 was full screen. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly this session has to be covered by Viber, but any of Viber left, I'll be taking this session, this part. I mean, what we would like to focus here is how Visa earns money and what are the and what happens in the background. I think that was the discussions which we were doing, and what is the business case for Visa here, and how the profit and other things, how they make money. That's what we would like to address here. Yeah, the major is, as I already informed earlier, Visa is just an enabler for the card transaction to be done because it has wide merchant network being accessed by his cards. So as a consumer, so you would like to go and purchase some goods and services from the merchant. So the merchant as such is not bothered about his core business is not into any cards or something. His core business is only to do the sell the goods or the services. So he will have a kind of a contract with the merchant banks, and the merchant banks will have the kind of a contract with Visa where it's a kind of a network.
So 1 second, when you say the merchant bank, so for example, I am the customer, I go to this Pantaloon showroom, they have this Visa POS machine from Yes Bank. So basically, if Yes Bank has provided that machine, which means the Pantaloon store has an account with Yes Bank. So the transaction goes to Yes Bank.
It need not be, and I mean, that's what I mean, that is also possible, but it need not be. See, the POS,
no, that is what this flow shows.
No. I mean, I'll just, that's what, let me cover it. Maybe then I'll cover all the possible scenarios also. So at the merchant location, the POS, the POS transaction, the point of sale, the terminal which he has, it can be enabled to accept any card, either Visa or it can be MasterCard or Amex or Discovery or whatever the other brands which are China Union Pay, what are the other brands which are available in the market. So the merchant is not worried about it. So he has a kind of an POS, the point of sale or a terminal, which this terminal will be completely can be belong to the merchant bank, or it can be belong to a third party also. It need not be always belong to the merchant bank. But yes, that merchant bank can also.
No, this part is not clear to me. So the POS that is provided, always a bank only provides, right? Or who else will provide the POS?
It need not be. You can also be a provider.
Who am I?
You are as a third party institute.
Just providing POS. What is the use case for that?
It's like I mean, you have to go and find your merchants, and you have to have a contract with the merchant banks, and you have to have a contract with the networks.
Okay.
When I mean networks, it is Visa.
Yeah, I understood. So I have to tie up with multiple banks. I have to tie up with multiple providers like Visa, MasterCard. It's a very messy business, right? What is the profit I will get?
No, that is what is the fees, right? There's all fees which you are talking, interchange fee or the merchant service fee, which
correct. But I always thought that the POS is provided by the banks only. Okay, so there are third-party players in the business also.
But mainly by the bank, merchant bank, but also it seems, okay, now I understand that somebody else also is providing third party. Okay.
For example, in Germany, there is a company called Wincor Nistorf. That company is responsible. So they have the.
See, there are a lot of third parties. That's what I mean. The market is huge. Whatever you guys were discussing, that UPI will get this thing. That's what I compared UPI with IMPS or NEFT. We are just comparing two different things here. I mean, yes, anything can be replaced. I'm not telling everything will have a certain lifetime, and new technologies will come in. That is where is the challenge with the current competitive world. Anything can be replaced.
Okay, but these are legacy technologies, right? That is the whole point, right? They are very costly to maintain. These are all legacy payment technologies.
No, they are also changing rapidly. They are into Visa M Secure. There are many things like that. So they are
So if they change rapidly, they will survive, right? That is the whole game.
also doing mobile payments. Have you read about Square?
So wait,
Square involved with
wait. Let us stick to this one here. So when you say the merchant, so basically you are saying that the POS terminal. So say this Pantaloon store can have 20 machines. So 2 could be provided by SBI, 2 could be provided by Yes Bank, and the rest 16 could be provided by different third-party providers.
Yes,
Like that.
That is also possible.
And
Yes.
whichever basically has the good relationship with the store, they will buy from them. Whoever is giving them the good deal. And this then third-party provider. So instead of the bank,
Actually,
if the
that-
third-party provider provides, they will have to tie up with multiple banks. If it is the bank, then they will only use their own bank for payment processing. So they get that extra business. And then they use Visa, MasterCard, American Express. So whichever bank gives multiple options on their POS, you can use multiple cards. If they give only one option, they can use only that company's card. So there will be
Yes.
exclusive also, right? That one machine
Yes,
exclusive for
everything.
Visa. Only Visa card will work. That kind of
Mm,
machine will also be there, right?
Yes, there are a lot of probabilities here.
So then the exclusive one is what Visa will like, right? Because then it will be good for them. They will
But
promote
they
that.
would like to get integrated because the mass people will not be into that, right? It depends on what is the kind of goods and services which you want. That all
But
things will
as a Visa
come.
guy, right, I prefer exclusive, right? Like, so basically the bank providing a machine which is exclusive for Visa cards. So anybody who comes, the merchant will
No,
ask.
that's what here we are totally not getting the picture here. See, if the POS is enabled to swipe on Visa or Mastercard or exclusive or inclusive, it doesn't matter, because the transaction which the consumer does, that fee is totally separate, and whatever the transaction which other person does, if it is inclusive, it is only you are only it's like you want to only, that's what you were telling earlier, iOS, I want to only do only my Apple should only use iOS, no one should sell the iOS, right? If you are so inclusive, you'll not be having the market.
That may be from the machine perspective, because for the hardware guy, he wants to process all the cards, because otherwise his machine may not sell. Got it. But Visa can always do tie-up, right? Saying to promote its card, you can go to a hardware manufacturer and say, boss, manufacture 1000 cards machines for me, POS machines, but this machine should only accept Visa. And then they can go and market 2 shops, right? Because
That's
in that
what I was
shop,
telling you. Visa core business is not into that.
but it makes sense, right? To promote the use of their card, exclusive arrangement is even better.
See, no, I mean that's what I'm telling you. Yes, there are. I mean, they might do that, but there are a lot of risk involved in it. For example, if you want your own exclusive, so then you have to go and tell to that provider that, or you have to pay that kind of a feature to enable that exclusive feature for you.
From a merchant perspective. Anyways, okay, we are on top of the hour, so we will close it. We can wait, take 3-4 minutes to for if anyone has any questions, and this will be continued next Saturday. But excellent, very good presentation. Looks really good. So after the end of it, all of us will be experts in payment technology and Visa and all that. Good choice of a company.
I think it's a very big complex to understand everything. I think we don't know where are the other entities are involved. For example,
that we will
Wirecard
figure
business.
out. That we will figure out. No, Ranjit, that is the whole purpose of the group, right? Exploring, asking questions, right? Helping each other. None of us knows everything, but together we know a lot.
Yeah,
so anyways, anyone has questions, please go ahead. Otherwise, we will close this in 3-4 minutes.
I mean, actually, whatever you're trying to grasp, it's so big. This is. I'm into this from past 10 years. It's an ocean. It's completely an ocean where you cannot grasp it. Even after 10 years, also, I still feel I learn daily some or other thing here.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to learn everything, but how much ever I can, right? That is the whole objective.
Input to you.
In this technology, that means this transactions and how it's all IT plus finance, is it?
Yes.
Payment, fintech as such.
Okay. So what's this called? I think Srigari said something.
Mobile payments.
I'm working.
Mobile payments.
No, it's a card payment industry.
Okay, card payment industry. Okay.
One more thing, Nishant, I have a concern. You always say India is a big market, India is a big market, but it's a big market too. All the people who are there are productive enough. Just a small question: Is the if the majority of the crows are there in India, why the crow is not become the national bird of the India? So
Arey,
we
don't
should.
give me all that logic here.
No,
That somebody
more
gave
thing.
some logic. See, we
One more,
can convert it, right? We never were interested to buid this consumer-based market. You
one more
you give
thing.
me, you make me prime minister within 1 year. I will make everyone crorepati. You want how? There are many
I,
ideas. So don't
one
get
more.
into all that. We don't
No,
want
yes.
to build that kind of economy. That is why we have not done it.
No, my
By
question is
funding,
not
by
yet.
giving credit card to everyone, we can do it, right? There is a lot of ways to do it.
My question is not done yet. See, business is like doesn't matter. Lamborghini is there. Lamborghini can sell only one car, but doesn't matter. 100 cars are sell Maruti. Does Lamborghini's profit is equal to Maruti's? No. So these businesses are like that. And American Express, I was talking with other guy. American Express cost 20,000 rupees or something in India. Why it's so expensive?
American Express cost 20,000 rupees. What?
Yeah, I think you need some special platinum card or whatever. You need a special credit status to get American Express card or whatever. Amex card, I don't know. Whatever. Those cards also running in the business. Why those are expensive?
Yeah, because they have a premium
Yes,
segment, right? That is a different segment. So what is
I
your
thought,
point? I am confused.
no,
There
no,
is
you.
always a premium segment, but what I
Yeah.
am trying to say is the
Uh-huh.
mass market, right? The mass market always looks for value for money. So whichever technology provider can give me at a cheaper cost, right? I will go to that. So
That
if
is
Visa can continue to match the cost and keep innovating, they will survive.
okay.
The whole point I was trying to make is there is no future for card-based payment. The future is for mobile-based payment. That is the future.
For example, you know how card payments are converting into mobile payments. For example, Apple Pay, Google Wallet, they can't do any transactions without card payment. For example, Apple Pay, I don't know it's introduced in India or not. In order to use Apple Pay, you need to have a Mastercard or a Visa. So does
Correct,
Roop
yeah,
they
but
will Pay,
that is
Apple
how they have built it, right? But they may not continue it. So even today for Paytm wallet, I add through my credit card only, and that credit card is powered by Visa card or Visa or Mastercard, right?
okay.
But as you guys were saying, there are other technologies, right? Only Visa and Mastercard are there in India. But somebody mentioned, right? Discovery is also there. Third, there are other competitors, right? American Express is a fourth competitor. I think American Express is not Visa Master, right? It is a different proprietary technology. So
Yeah.
there are different competitors in the market.
Yeah, I
And
have some.
one more input, you said that advertisement and all those things. Do you think banks will look for the whatever the peanuts margin for advertisement? Banks as finance transaction as such, it's a
Array
very
ad is not peanut, man. Everyone will do it. Don't worry.
yes, but
Let all
finance
the let
finance
all the let all the customers come on credit.
no telling you finance industry as such, it's a very privacy thing. Do you think like Germany will allow to do happen something like that? No one is depending on ad business. Fintech industry never they can't do ad business. Do you think
Okay,
Kotak Bank will show
I had
advertisement?
shared one ad. Okay, Apple is trying to do something called in-app ads. That may change the whole industry. So you see that. So a lot of things are changing. So just chill, Madi.
Apple is not a fintech company. I'm not talking Apple is not a fintech company. I'm talking about only fintech companies. They never depend on, they never go into such thing. It's a privacy concern. Countries like Germany never accept.
Array, but we are
Maybe
not Germany, na man. You are saying
man,
country. Germany
India,
is only 80 million people. It's a useless country.
India
No
8
relevance.
million.
In future, it will have no relevance.
No, in India, I see there is no policies like a GDPR. There is a general data protection law or something like that. It was not at all there in India in the past. In 2019, there should be a bill should be passed. Privacy law should be enforced in India. Otherwise, we can't control the digitalization. Too much digitalization is also very bad. Not
Arey,
everything
bhai,
will.
everything has a plus and minus, but that is the direction in which the world is moving. Anyways, I don't want to get into that discussion with
Privacy
you.
I have
is very
some.
Any
important.
questions on this presentation anyone has?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I
I
have
have to go.
some 3 points to make. One point was like we were talking this credit card why UPI is not making. Okay, I just don't want to get it. It's open another discussion. Like it's a big lobby behind it and will of the government. And if the will of the government is also there, lobby plays a main role. And second role is the point in Germany also. The Chinese tourists when they come, the payments are accepted in Alipay. all the big shopping malls, the Chinese in the Europe also they accept Alipay, and it's they're expanding at least for the Chinese tourism, this thing, tourists. And the third point was I like the format what we did. I think I know like Nishant, you are not cornering the other person, but it should be the way. I think we should open up the box and the challenge. I like the challenging method, and it was really in discussion, and also we should compare the Indian environment. This was really good. I think today's session was really good.
So this Alipay thing, so even I know this. So that is what WeChat is doing. Both WeChat and Alipay, they are getting into this transaction agreements like Visa and MasterCard, where globally, basically a Chinese guy travels anywhere, they can continue to use WeChat because they are comfortable with it. So they will use that WePay and all, right? So they are getting into agreements with multiple vendors. So that is what I was saying. So automatically, they are internationalizing their payment methodology.
It's already most internationalized. If you come the place where I live in Germany, it's a big outlet city. It's called, and there also the Chinese like Hugo Boss also comes from the city. They buy like crazy, and all the shops they accept Alipay, and even Stuttgart.
Correct. It is all about the market size, right? That is what I was trying to tell to Webhouse, especially, right? Because he doesn't understand the geopolitics of it. So that is what I was trying to highlight to him, that 1976 American tourists were everywhere. Today Chinese tourists are everywhere. In France, in all the metro stations in Paris, they announce in Chinese Mandarin because the tourists are so much. So it is English, French. So ideally it is in that order: French, English, and Mandarin. I'm sure very soon, if some Chinese guy picks it up, it will be French, Mandarin, and English. And then someday they can also force to do first in Mandarin. That is also possible. Okay, because the saying goes, right? Na baap bada na bhaiya, sabse bada
Rupaya.
Exactly. That is what works. Money talks. Money has always talked. Anywhere, everywhere in the world.
I think Indians will be going for work in China also soon. I see.
Why you are anti-India, man? Let Indians go anywhere. I don't care, right? If we don't fix your house, this is what will happen. If people like you will leave the country and only criticize, come back, fix the country.
I'm not anti-India, Nishant. Let me tell you. What's the problem with? Because China is superpower, so everyone will go to China to work.
Why we will not become superpower? Why we will go to China? That is the mentality, right? Why go to someone else's house to fix there? Fix your own house, na?
No, if someone is paying for it, definitely our Indians will go. Even you did it, and everyone will do the same thing.
I did not go for money, man. I went because I joined an industry where I was forced to go. I did not go for the money, and I'm very happy here.
Whatever, but one or the other way, people will move.
No, that's true.
Now people are coming back also. Now, do you know how many people came back from US because they realized that green card will take 100 years? Do you know?
I think they kicked out. Maybe they lost the jobs. Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, so they will come back, right? Whatever reason. Now, what I said is globalization is dead. And remember my words. Just like when Berlin Wall fell 31 years ago, globalization started. Globalization is dead. It was already dead after Brexit or even before Brexit. Brexit, Trump, these are all symptoms of globalization being dead, and COVID was the last nail in the coffin. Now every country is trying to be Atmanirbhar. Unfortunately, for the smaller countries like Sri Lanka and all, with a population of 20 million, they do not have all the resources, or they don't have enough market. We have enough resources and enough market. So we will only trade on need basis. That is all. Only if we need something, we will trade.
Man, you always talk about India is a big market, big market. I don't know. Still, their GDP is still less only. I'm not against that.
GDP, but you don't know how to calculate. That is what I'm saying. PPP, if you apply, our GDP is almost bigger than America. Okay, to do one haircut in New York City, normal salon, it will take you $50. I spend $1. So do I get 50 times salary in New York? What, you are joking? Do you know how much an apartment cost in Manhattan? Tell me how much an apartment cost in Manhattan just to rent. Buying, forget. Both I will give the price.
Man, you can also compare with Mumbai. Okay, you can also compare with the Mumbai like that. You cannot compare with somewhere like a Bangalore, some parts of the Bangalore with Manhattan.
Bangalore per capita income is higher than Mumbai. But okay, compared to Mumbai also, okay, how much is the rent for a 3 BHK in Mumbai and how much is the rent for 3 BHK in Manhattan? In Mumbai, you will get for 70,000. In Manhattan, you will give $6,000. So you get 6 times Mumbai salary in New York. You don't get.
See, the
In Mumbai,
cost of-
people can make 2 lakh. Do they make 12 lakhs in New York? No. The guy who makes 2 lakh in Mumbai will hardly make 6 lakhs in New York. Hardly. 6 lakhs means roughly at the rate of 80, $7,500 net. Very difficult to make that much. And there are many people in New York City who survive in $2,000. Just like people there are in Mumbai who make less than 2 lakhs. So yes, there is something called purchasing power parity. And in US, most of the places are expensive. In India, many places are still very cheap. You can survive with very less money. And very nice, beautiful, clean towns. So anyways, this discussion is now over. I have to go. We can continue it next week. Thanks. Good presentation on Visa.
No,
Bye-bye.
but I think Nishant, next week, we try to see the presentations. And so I think we've seen only 2 pages out of 18 pages. So
Who's this?
Venkat.
Yeah, so we'll go with the natural course, right, Venkat? The purpose is not just to cover the presentation, right? It is to see the whole purpose of getting the presentation is to get people to think and to do some background work. Once that is done, once it is presented in the open forum, the whole purpose is to initiate the discussion and make it broad and also to focus on Visa. At the end of the session of Visa, we will conclude, or the presenting team will continue, whether it's a buy, hold, or a sell. It would have given people 30% of the information they need to make their investment decision on Visa. They can do some background reading and then decide whether to open a new position or not. That is the whole purpose and the model of this group. So even if it takes 4 classes to complete Visa, I don't mind, because the whole purpose is to complete, initiate discussion which allows for a broad discussion on a variety of topics. Okay. I really have to go now. Okay. We can continue next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye bye.